All right, Garrett, how are you?
I'm doing amazing.
Okay.
How about yourself?
I'm good. I can't complain. Life is good. We get to create whatever we want our experience to be anyway, so all is well.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
want to get into this thing with you real quick, right?
Okay.
So, whenever you think of men building a company together, especially when it's more than two men, a lot of people will say that's not possible, especially to make it profitable or to be in business as long as you guys have been. But how have you been able to continue your own evolution while still staying true to yourself while also being a part of a group?
I gotta admit, first and foremost, I want to say thank you to God, for allowing us to be in business this long. And just to answer your question, it's extremely difficult. And I don't want to make it seem like we always have everything figured out and that it's easy to evolve while being in a partnership because it's extremely, like I said, it's extremely difficult and it's very, very, very challenging. And it's something that I struggle with right now. Like I feel like sometimes I don't even know if I'm evolving while still being in the group. Like when we were speaking off camera, you said something about as you grow in business, like how does it affect, other parts, other areas in your life? You know what I mean? Like you was talking about whether you fall in love with someone, how does that affect the business? Whether whether you're going through a heartbreak, how does that affect you in the business? But I do feel like at this current moment, I'm not evolving, so I'm in search of more. That's why I was saying off camera, we need mentorship, because I feel like we capped out. I feel like we got into a point where we capped out, which is not a bad thing.
Yeah.
Because I'm thankful that I'm able to understand that and know that we do need help in order for us to go to the next level.
Ooh. So when you think about I do need help, or you recognize, hey, as a member of this team, we have reached our maximum capacity. In order to expand, we're going to have to do things differently. How do you even bring that to the group and feel comfortable enough to do so? Because that's hard.
You know what? It's extremely difficult to do, but the guys are understanding.
Okay.
But even with the guys being understanding, it doesn't really mean that everybody may feel the way that you feel, because people grow at different rates, and so it could be a tug of war sometimes.
Okay.
Because I feel like with me, I'm also growing a lot more spiritually, and so we've been exposed to having a little bit more, not where we want to be yet, but I feel like there was a moment in time where God gave me, he slowed me down. Like he gave me a little piece and he kind of was like,
let me see what you're going to do with this.
let me see what you're going to do with it. And I feel like I did a great job
Okay.
with what I had.
Okay, good steward.
No. I'm far from perfect, but I felt like I did what I had to do.
Okay.
But then it was a moment in time when I was just sitting on my couch in my house, and I was making a certain amount of money in a month that I was making when I was driving trucks in a whole year. So what I was making in a whole year, I was making it in a month.
Yeah.
And then I remember it was the time I was just sitting on my couch, and I'm like, all the same things that troubled me before still trouble me now.
Yes.
And then I felt like I was even dressing down, like I was probably having no lotion on, coming out the house with just
with the ashy knees?
No, ashy knees, all that ashy knees and, beat up t-shirts and just like thong sandals. But it was just like, for me, it was like, I felt like God gave me, he showed me a little bit just to say like, okay, I'm gonna show you this, but I just wanted to show you that this is not gonna change anything. You making more is not gonna change anything. There's some things that you have to correct before I put some more on you. And there's some people that can't go with you, that you trying to bring them with you. And I can't bless you if you
keep that.
if you keep them, because you're enabling them to be who they are, and I need them to do their assignment as well.
Oof. Listen, you just said a whole lot there. But what I want to tap into first is the piece that a lot of people feel like, if I make more money, if I have more of this, if I get more of that, everything will be good.
Yeah.
You just said that you had made what you made in an entire year normally, you made it in a month and you still felt down. I want so badly for people to understand that money does not change your internal experience.
Facts.
It changes your external experience because you can buy more, you can live different, you can fly different, there's a different experience externally. But what has that been like for you, taking a look at, hey, I know this has not changed my internal experience. What will I do to solve that piece, the piece of me that still is searching for something?
Man, it's extremely difficult. But that's why, like, I was telling myself, like, at the beginning of this year, the word was to be still.
Okay.
And so I did it for the first quarter of the year. Maybe not even the first quarter of the year.
First quarter strong.
Yeah, first quarter strong. But then, you know, I went back like a lot of us always do. We always take a step back, you know. And so I did the first quarter. And so that's why, like, my word for next year, a statement rather, is stop running. So I feel like
To sit in it.
yeah, but you know, see, for me it's a little bit challenging because I like to move.
I feel you.
You know what I'm saying? I like to move, and then I find myself always trying to help God out. Like, I have an issue, then I pray about it, and then He'll send me a sign, and then I try to help Him out. But I couldn't figure it out all these years.
Yeah, so you the type who gonna say a prayer then go get what you just prayed for because he needs some help. Clearly,
Yeah, he needs some help.
He needs some help.
So I'm gonna go and help God out.
Yeah.
You know, and so I find myself doing that a lot. So my statement for next year will be stop running, and what that looks like is I gotta really sit in whatever it is that I'm feeling, and it's okay to feel the way I feel, and really, like, go through the step, go through those steps, because a lot of the times we focus on the process and not the payoff. You know what I'm saying? And sometimes when I'm trying to be still, I think about the process of this is rough. It's tough to do it. Yeah. Instead of thinking like, okay, if I go through this process, like, what the payoff would look like.
Yeah, so I learned these lessons and I don't have to keep.
I don't have to, and see, that's the thing. Like, sometimes you think of yourself a certain way until you run into these problems, and then you sit down and you be like, am I really what I say I am? Yeah. Like, am I really the captions that I say? You know, when I write these things, is that really me? Am I really, like, do I really have faith in the way that I have faith? Yeah. And so that's why, like, when I'm still and I'm in the process, it's like sometimes I get scared, and then I go back to my safe haven, and then I can recreate my own hell, you know. And it's so, like, now I'm starting to realize that. So now I realize that I have to sit in my process, and I have to get the right people around me, seek the right counsel, and listen and move forward the best way I can.
I love that. I love that. You also said too, when you were speaking about everyone does not feel that, hey, this is the move we should make, even after you've brought it to your partnership and to the group. That takes a lot. And one of the things that I've noticed about each of you, because there are four co-founders of Fly Supply, one of the things that I've noticed is all of your parents are either still together or were together until death did them part, or have been in long-term relationships. So when you see someone in a long-term anything, you get to see the highs, the lows, when things are challenging, when there are problems that arise, you get to see how people work through that. Would you say like that was one of your first lessons, or when it came to learning discipline, like where did you first see that?
Yeah, most definitely, like you said, like with my parents, they're still together to this day. And that's why I witnessed real partnership. I also got my discipline from that as well. And then also I got discipline from youth sports, you know, because you learn a lot from playing on a team with other guys. You don't want to put them in compromising positions. You want to take care of yourself so that way the team is stronger. And so, but most definitely I witnessed it from my mom and my dad. Like I saw what real love looked like. Not even just love, but loyalty and really like real problem solving. Cause like my dad, he, you know, my dad, he had other kids. He had outside kids as well. And I love all my other brothers and sisters too, you know. But I also witnessed the hurt that caused when you you have other children from, other people, you know what I mean? It's hurtful, for your brothers and sisters, and it's also hurtful for my mother. So I know as a kid, I used to always look and be like, you know what? I never want to have a lot of kids from different women, because I see the effects of when your brother leave for the weekend or whatever, and then he comes back and he has to readjust, and then he doesn't know that his mom had to save up all that money just for that weekend, and then that's all she had. She's gonna send you back. So in your mind as a kid, you think, man, if I was staying with my mom, I get all this. I get this all the time if I stayed over there. Yeah. But that's not really, wasn't really the case. But but back to what you were saying with the question, I did learn my discipline like that, because my parents had us cooking and stuff like that, and I learned how to, Wednesdays was my day to cook every Wednesday, and then Thursdays we always had to cut the grass, and so I learned all that. And I remember at the time when my mom and my dad was trying to teach me these things, my dad was like, when I was young, one time I was hot, because he was like, man, I want you to learn how to cook. Then I'm like in my head, like, why I gotta learn how to cook? Y'all doing a good job. I don't y'all got it. I don't need to help out on this. Yeah. And I remember my dad, he got frustrated with me. He said, I'm trying to show you this right now, so that way, if you're ever with a woman and she leaves, then, you'll know how to take care of yourself. Yeah. And then like years later, I really experienced that. And I remember one time I was cooking for my son. And so I was cooking for my son, and he was like, sitting in the island at the table or whatever. And he said, Daddy, the food is real good. And I remember I kind of got emotional to myself, because I remember years ago my dad was explaining this to me. And so, I always cherish those moments. And I remember the next day I was heading to Fly Supply. I was heading to the shop. And I remember I called my dad, but I couldn't get a word out because I was so emotional about it. Yeah. I couldn't do nothing. I just shed a tear on the phone. I was talking to my pop. So he was just like, what happened? I told him. But I was emotional about that situation. But that's how I learned all that discipline and stuff like that. Like watching my dad go to work at 3 a.m, consistently doing push-ups, dips, stretch every morning for like years, the same routine. So that's how I learned how to, I witnessed the discipline and stuff like that.
So what you're saying is if you are a parent, you need to go ahead and find something that you're going to make your children consistently do?
Yeah.
That's what I just took, y'all. I'm going to put that in my pocket.
Yeah, most definitely.
Put that one in my pocket.
Yeah, most definitely. Because I learned that, man. And like my dad, he never had an education, but he was always like street smart, smart in the world, and stuff like that. He was always wise in that way. So he'll say certain things to me, and I'll pick up on it, and I'll be like, okay, you gave me some real game. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So
then would you say, when you all were building Fly Supply, when you were deciding what it would represent, did you take a lot of that like from your childhood experiences, or what was that like? Like when you knew, okay, yes, we're gonna build Fly Supply, what did you want it to represent, or what does it represent to you? I
mean, what Fly Supply represents to me is, we represent the underdogs. We represent the underdogs. We represent that we can really work together. People in general, like we can really work together. Yeah. We just have to put our egos to the side and, really make something happen. Fly Supply, it also represents honesty and people that remember kindness. Cause like coming up, I always saw my parents the same way. Like they always remember kindness. So it's like a part of me sometimes, that's why I'm always a little bit skeptical when somebody do something for me, because I just know how I am. If you do something for me, you got a friend for life. Yeah. I'm gonna feel like I gotta show up. I gotta show you. So sometimes I don't even really want nobody to do nothing for me, because I know how like my heart is gonna be like, man. So
you don't know how to accept it, is what you're saying. And you're gonna go ahead and get you some therapy to start accepting?
I know, you know what? I did start doing therapy, and because I didn't know how to accept things. And that come from just my background. Like if we was to go to someone's house, we couldn't never ask for anything, even if it was offered to us. So like if they offered water, juice, we could never like, you know what I mean? We could never be like, I want it. Like my parents would give me that look like, you bet not. So over time, I realized that. So you know, from those experiences, I realized that okay, you're not supposed to take things from others. So that's why when people for my love language, I feel like I'm all 5, but last on my list is gifts. I don't know how to accept gifts. I appreciate it, but I don't know how to accept it because I was getting in trouble if I tried to accept anything, which is good and bad. It kind of developed me the way I am now. But
you know what's crazy is how people interpret things differently. So because I too was not allowed to ask for anything. I don't care how hungry you are, you better say you don't need nothing because your parents already took care of it.
Yeah.
Because of that, my love language, my first one is gifts because I wasn't allowed to accept things. So now give me all the things. Yes, please, and thank you.
Yeah.
I will happily accept them. I will write a nice little handwritten card or, repay you in some way as to say thank you. But yes, please give me the gifts. Yeah. It's interesting because people really do interpret things in different ways, especially when you're building something together. So which part of you or what aspect of you do you think you had to let go of in order to be able to build Fly Supply to where it is now?
I don't think that I let go any part of me really, but I think at this point it hindered us because I think in a partnership. Sometimes you don't say, I'm speaking for myself. I may not say certain things that I know that need to be said just to make things fit, because you don't want to
rock the boat.
Yeah, you don't want to rock the boat. And when you're working in the creative space, you want people to be creative, and you don't want to really create that sort of that atmosphere. But then over time, you see how it doesn't work necessarily, and so, but the beauty about us four, we can have a dialogue and do it. And so I think I was always trying to, not even just at Fly Supply, but just in certain situations, I always try to make
peace.
Make peace. And I don't want to cause a chaotic thing. Cause I love to be a happy person. Yeah. I like to smile, I like to laugh, but at the same time, I know inside me, I know if I get angry, I'm gonna really get angry.
You become the Hulk, basically.
Right, pretty much,
You don't like you when you're angry.
Yeah, I don't like, I don't like to be angry like that, but I just see the vision for Fly Supply, the type of guys that I'm around some amazing men. And so I always feel like we supposed to be on another level, but we had to go through this in order to get to where I know we're going to be going.
The process you were talking about earlier.
The process. But you got guys like Reggie, amazing guy, Rick, amazing guy, KP, you know what I mean? I think and no shots at anybody, but I think out of all 4 of us, I believe like KP is probably like the most brilliant out of all 4 of us. And that's why I like doing things like this because, he's so laid back.
Yes.
He's very laid back.
He's the quiet one.
He's quiet, but he's the sharpest. Yeah. He can do everything in the business. Yeah. Everything. But he's gonna really be quiet. Like, you know what I mean? So it's crazy. So, but the part that I do have to let go now to get to that next level would be, it have to be more direct. Because I feel like I've been blessed with having discernment. And so I have that discernment, and then sometimes I don't act on it. You know what I mean? And then also what I would have to let go of to get to the next level, not even just at Fly Supply, is being double-minded. And the Bible speaks about that. Yeah. And I've been double-minded for years. You got to choose. And I've been double-minded for a while. So now it's about stop running. My statement for next year. Stop running and stop being double-minded. Just choose something and go with that. Yeah. And you're gonna be all right. God will bless that. Yeah. You know what I mean? But just don't be in limbo. Cause that's what the devil like, confusion.
Absolutely. Listen, my next question for you is gonna be, who do you have to become to go to the next level? But you already answered it. Yeah. You will have to make a decision, stick with it, and go full force. Because here's the thing I have learned no matter what it is you want to do, if you are consistent with it, you will have that. Even in the Bible, because we've been talking about God quite a bit, before there were a number of languages, there was a parable where the people decided that they were going to build basically a staircase or a tower up to heaven because they had some questions.
Right.
I ain't understanding this stuff you got going on.
Yeah, right.
We gonna get together, we gonna build a tower, and we gonna come and talk to you.
Right.
And God said, because the people are undivided, whatever they want, they will be able to accomplish. So I'm gonna confuse them by switching up their languages.
Yeah, right.
So that they can't communicate. So it actually speaks to both things that you were talking about. You will have to trust in your own discernment to say, hey, I think this is where we should go. So A, communicate. And then B, staying consistent, because consistency literally transforms everything.
Most definitely.
This was so good. Thank you for taking time with me.
Yeah, no, most definitely. You know what? Just to throw this in there too, I believe like there's somewhere in the Bible, you could correct me if I'm wrong, if you know, there's somewhere in the Bible where it talks about like one person could put 1,000 to flight. But then
one could chase 1,000, but two could put 10,000.
10,000 with God on their side. So I always think about we're four of us. You know, think about the multiplier with that. We're four. And so that's why I just feel like I don't want the world to just think about Fly Supply as just clothing. You know, because, you know, clothing, you know, over time, you know, styles change, you know, fashion change. I want people to really see us as like, well, I want us to develop into leaders, like, and to show people that we can work together. Cause I think like this is preparing me for marriage, you know, so the partnership prepares me for marriage because it's like different things. It's difficult conversations that we do have. And I think it's also preparing me to be a good husband. Yeah. And so, yeah, man, but I know just to leave off on this, cause you know, when the world sees it, what I do want with Fly Supply, I want to build this compound. I want it to be this big thing, right? It don't have to be in Miami. So whoever's listening, like we could partner on it. It don't have to be in Miami. It could be in Georgia, you know, Louisiana, wherever, you know, but Cleveland, wherever. But want to have this. My vision is this huge compound where it's going to be a facility that's going to teach people, you know, financial literacy, about emotional intelligence. Making decisions rather quickly. You don't want to wait too long.
Got to be decisive.
Decisive. Yeah. And then, you know, just other things, teaching people how to cook. Of course, we'll have a store. Like, that's why a lot of times I don't really talk about fashion because it's not really my thing. I'll be a fool to think.
It's not your thing? Okay.
No. You know, I like to be clean. But I don't feel like I'll be a fool to think that God put four of us together just to only tackle fashion.
Absolutely.
You know, so I know it's for something else.
Yeah, for something bigger. It's
Huge.
one aspect.
Yeah.
And listen, folks, you got to get them with, some candy before you can give them a carrot.
Right.
So the fashion could be your candy.
Right.
And then everything else that you guys are building and evolving into is definitely going to be the carrot that they need to be able to transform generations. Because for Black men working together, building together, working through challenges and problems and evolving separately and together, that is something that is commendable is a word that does it disservice. That is something that is generation altering and life shifting. That is a game changer. So I'm excited to watch you guys continue to grow and evolve and to scale and soar. And once you put it out into the universe that this is what you want, it comes. God literally like, okay, that's what you said you needed? Okay, bet, here we go.
Yeah.
So you just got to be open to receive it.
I receive it.
There you go, Jinx.
Yeah. I'm with it.
All right. Well, thank you so much.
I appreciate you so much. Thank you.
You're welcome.